Hello everybody, what's up? Bonjour, shalom. This is Garland, the Crazy Preacher, and I'll be your host here at Conundrum Contingencies. I hope everybody is having a blessed Wednesday or whatever day it might be. I just wanted to do a video on forgotten preps and the zombie apocalypse. Now, if I were you, I wouldn't really worry about the zombie apocalypse because the only way I know to create zombies is A, with pufferfish powder, or on the off chance that the rumor that the RFID chip will rot people from the inside out, then that might create some zombies, but that's neither here nor there. So we'll see. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. So let's get to it. Things that people forget when they make their purposes. What's number one, Randy?
Water and seeds.
Water and seeds, okay. A lot of people trip off of whether something is GMO seed or natural or this or that. I would just get the cheapest seeds that I could find. I wouldn't really worry about that. And in fact, even if you do get GMO seeds, they're going to revert back to the parent plant anyway. So it is what it is. And I have water under my love seat, and I have water under the bed, and I have some more water in the back room, and I have some water in my kitchen. So I'm not really worried about water. Plus, there's ponds and lakes across the street, so I think I'm good. What's next, Mike?
Next would be canned heat.
Canned heat. Remember last time you went to a really nice hotel or a really nice buffet? Sometimes they have these cans of heat, and you can pop these off and light them, and they'll last sometimes an hour and a half, 3 hours, whatever it may be. Now, you can pretty much use these without a ventilation source, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's kind of like those little stoves when you have a cooking class and they run out of stoves. I mean, the Cordon Bleu, they might have a stove for every pupil, but a lot of times you end up cooking on a tabletop. And this is pretty much the same thing, like, a little propane stove. You could probably get away with it, but I would recommend having some ventilation. And when you light candles, I recommend putting a candle in an old beer can in a bowl on top of a plate. There's a lot of good camping grounds and a lot of good buildings that went up in smoke because somebody was careless or the wind knocked the candle over. Just take gravity out of the equation. What's next, my man?
Next would be thyroid pills.
Okay. I actually have some thyroid pills for doomsday, for the apocalypse, whatever you want to call it. By the time you actually need to worry about your thyroid and radiation, you're pretty much screwed. But I did actually buy some, and what did I? Oh, here we go. I think there's only about 14 tablets in here, so it is what it is. By the time I need that, everybody's suffering. What's next on this, man?
Next would be a sewing kit.
Sewing kit. A sewing kit serves a lot of different purposes. I mean, if push comes to shove, you could stitch yourself up with it. You could be in a situation where I think every bug out bag should have one. You could be in a position, this one costs $1 at Dollar Tree. You can find yourself in a position where you end up wearing the same thing for a long, long time. That's a lot of stress. You might have to patch it up. What's next?
Next would be spices, condiments, and cheese.
All right. A lot of people have peanut butter. They have beans and rice. They have MREs. But MREs aren't what they were in yesteryear. When I was in the Persian Gulf, the MREs came with a little bottle of Tabasco sauce, salt, pepper, toilet paper. They don't come with all, and some gum. They don't come with all that. M&Ms, cost-cutting measures. So I think everybody should have hot sauce, Parmesan cheese put away. If you got the big bucks, maybe you can buy some Romano cheese or some kind of other fancy, dry, hard cheese. Because that's something that you're really going to miss when it gets lean. And plain macaroni and cheese out the box, not all that, especially if you don't have margarine and butter to make it the right way. So I recommend everybody stock up on whatever they like to make their food taste good. Roll it.
Wood and charcoal.
Okay. Right outside, I'm not going to take you there, but right outside I got some wood under some lawn chairs, and I got a little bit more wood in the back. I have extra charcoal, but by the time people actually need charcoal, charcoal is going to be selling out quick. They might even raise the price of the charcoal. Get an extra bag or two of charcoal now. That way you won't be under stress when your stomach starts growling. That's my recommendation.
And next is adhesives and tape.
All right, and also don't forget your lighter fluid, because some people don't know how to take like 6 pieces of newspaper and build a fire or use flint. So you might want to stock up on a couple of extra lighters and lighter fluid. Now, as far as the tape and the adhesives, who knows what you might have to patch up and what you might have to do. I recommend having some extra tubes of super glue. There's nothing worse than having a project and then you open up the tube of super glue and it's frozen hard. You can't even open it. You got to cut the top off. I recommend going to a place like Dollar General or Dollar Tree and buy a 6-pack of individual vials, and then even if you don't use the whole vial up, you still got 5 fresh ones, and that takes that out of the equation. I think you can pretty much fix anything with duct tape and a clothes hanger, but again, sometimes you need more tape than you think you're going to need, so it's good to have a couple of extra rolls on hand.
Next will be meds.
Meds. Okay, tomorrow I have an appointment with the VA hospital. Now, if you're smart, what I recommend, even if you're not a veteran, don't wait until you run out of pills to call a pharmacy and sit there and wait 4 or 5 hours. When you get down to about 10 pills, then call the pharmacy, and then whether they mail it to you or you go pick it up, you might end up with 5, 6, 7 pills on reserve. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it could be the difference between life and death, especially if you have some kind of major ailments or you're diabetic or something like that. Now, I'm not a pharmacist. I went to school to be a computer repair technician and a social worker, but it's like this. If it comes to a point where you have to cut pills in half, when you cut that pill in half, you might get it all at once or you might get nothing at all. So you might want to talk to your doctor about that one. But I would recommend throwing a few pills back here and there as long as you can, and then when it happens, you won't be that stressed. What's next?
Gun accessories.
Okay, recently I bought this Raven Arms 25 for $90 at the pawn shop, and I think it was a good deal. I cleaned it up. I went fishing with it a couple of days ago. It got some salt water on it, so I had to break it all down and clean it up again, and put some rim oil on there. Rim oil's great, and so are patches and all that, but I would recommend everybody have some Q-tips on standby. Anything is better than going to war with a dirty gun. If you have to use Windex or nail polish remover, and then clean it all up and throw some water displacement 40 on top of that bad boy, you'd be better off going in the battle with WD-40 on your gun than nothing else. Some gunsmiths swear by it. Some people say after a while it leaves a waxy residue, and your gun won't be what it was, and it'll collect a lot of dirt. But I say it's better than nothing. Let me give you a story. Okay, when I was on the streets, I had bought this 38 short, 38 Smith & Wesson. Not the Saturday Night Special, but the old-time Victory Arms gun that had a stubby bullet about like my fingertip. And I remember that I had a cart or something that was rusted almost to the point where it wouldn't roll. So I went in the store and said, hey, man, I'm a regular customer. Let me just bum a little bit of that WD-40. You know I buy from you all the time. The Arab hooked me up. I went around the corner where nobody could see me. I sprayed that wheel. I sprayed the whole cart. And then I said, wait a minute. I got this old rusty pistol in my pocket. I've already cleaned it with alcohol or whatever I had. I sprayed some WD-40 on that 38, and it was like a whole different firearm. So WD shouldn't be your first choice, but WD-40 or generic is better than nothing. What's next?
Distractions.
Distractions. Follow me, kid. I want to show you guys something. Welcome to my humble home. Now, the end of the world is not all about the second coming and war. There's going to be a lot of downtime between people praying and crying and whatnot. You see me, I'm well prepared. Up in there, I had a chest set. I got my ukulele. I got some card games. I got a deck of cards. I've got some plug-and-play games. I just didn't feel like unhooking them. But I got books. I got Bibles. I got Fishing for Dummies. I got MP3 players, old and new, and you're going to need music. Now, my recommendation is to get a radio that has shortwave on it, but an old AM radio is better than nothing. And then you're not going to want to have a whole bunch of boom and thump thump. You just want to discreetly turn your radio on now and again so that you can know what's going on. You don't want your neighbors listening to your music, and you damn sure don't want marauders and thieves in here. And, you know, you're listening to Sir Mix-a-Lot Posse on Broadway or something by Kiss or Stairway to Heaven, and then they kick in and you're unprepared. And you got a beer in your hand or a drink instead of your sidearm. It won't be good. What's next?
Next is water barrels, bow and arrow, and level 3 body armor.
Okay. Those are preps that I want to have for the future. One of my pen pals told me that she's going to send me $75. If she sends me the $75, God bless her heart, I'm going to buy a level 3 body armor. It's about $69. I'm going to buy myself another clip for the Ravens 25 automatic. I have tried to buy some rain barrels with mixed results, but again, like I said, I've got water throughout the house and lakes and ponds across the street. But if I ever get a chance, I'm going to buy some rain barrels, and maybe later on I'll get a bow and arrow. I remember I was listening to the Canadian Prepper the other day, and the Canadian Prepper said that he might use his slingshot as a diversion, as it were. I plan on using my slingshot, which I did not show you, for hunting. But as far as creating a diversion, I have bottle rockets, and I have those little snaps that you can throw on the ground, and I have my scanner, so I think I'm pretty much well prepared. So, again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to Conundrum Contingencies. I want to thank my boy Randy for filming this for me, and we out.